Thank you, Coach. We are in the Pacific Northwest as we get set for football at CenturyLink Field here in Seattle. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. They'll run for the first time with Johnson. And he'll get this one up to the 26. In on the stop, Bradley McDougald.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56. Now, let's go. Blue Lightning. Blue Lightning.
They'll drop the throw. And nearly an interception here on their opening drive. But instead, third down. We documented it last week. They played so well defensively. 4 interceptions. Tried to get their hands on another one there.
And when you've had 4 the previous week, you are just itching for more the very next week. And there was a great opportunity. It went by the wayside, but let's not underscore what's going on with this defensive unit. They are around the ball every time it's being put in the air.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up fourth down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. And that hits at the 6 and carries into the end zone for a touchback. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at the 20. On the ground, this is Rashad Penny. He'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 23.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Now 2nd and 7 from the 23. Now Wilson on 2nd down. And the catch is made here by Tyler Lockett. Give him 30 yards there.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. It's complete to Lockett. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18.
Partner, this is one of the best routes anyone can have in their offensive playbook. Tough to defend because you think it's a go route, and then he breaks it back on the comeback. There's one other thing you need as well.
A well-thrown ball.
Exactly right. You have a guy who has some precision in throwing the football because of the timing of the route.
Now Wilson on 1st down. Nowhere to turn here. He's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. Zach Brown leading the surge there. He drops him for a loss of 6. So second and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Wilson. They set up the screen to Penny. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Give him 9 yards on the second down screen play.
I wonder what was going through his mind when he got the play call. He just got sacked on the previous play. He knows they're coming after him again. A little bit of guts to stand in there, take the hit, and successfully complete the screen pass. Really well done.
On third down, Wilson. And that is incomplete.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
So a pretty good opening drive. That'll make the home fans somewhat happy. They wanted 6, but they got 3 in the early lead.
And they should be happy. The guys look good getting down the field. That's got to give them a little bit of hope that good things are in store here today for them.
The Cardinal offense now making their way back out onto the field and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs. And that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
Nice way to start the drive. A gain of 12 and a first down. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Leopard! Leopard!
A first down carry here for Johnson. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. The tackle made by K.J. Wright.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
On second down, Johnson. He juked him. So he got free of one tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it's going to make it third down at 6.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, and you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
I think the punter might start to get into a pretty good rhythm here if he keeps getting opportunities. But that's the last thing his team wants to have happen, right? The last thing you want to see is your punter feeling pretty good because he's out there all the time.
Yeah, first quarter only, but they're 0 for 2 on third down conversions to start this thing. And not what he was hoping for there as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game. That's
looking for Lockett, and it's intercepted. Buda Baker with a pick, and his guys will take over at the 30-yard line. Now, they told us repeatedly earlier in the week in our meetings, we need some plays from our defense here on the road early. They got one.
And don't think they were above all week long pointing out to their defense that the other defense is rated higher than them. You going to let that happen, guys? Is that how we're going to play? And they responded to the challenge.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
About 3 yards there to the 27. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
They're going to look to throw. And able to find Kirk complete. 13 yards on his first catch. It's a first down as well. The Cardinals into the red zone for the first time. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 15.
Detroit! Detroit! Gone! 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 Gone!
Looking to throw. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
It is tough to complete passes against zone defenses. The windows that you see open, they shrink pretty rapidly. How about being able to hit a moving target against a zone before the next guy can get there and make a play on the ball?
Not easy for any quarterback, no matter the situation. And there, the defense won the battle. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. They'll set up to throw. And he'll take this one in for the Arizona touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. And the Cardinals have taken the early lead.
It's never fun for a defense to run on the field knowing that they're having to defend a short field. Just the idea of trying to limit an offense in that position, daunting for a defense.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And last time, 1-play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see when they decide to do a play caller. Because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, a lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give him a chance.
Maybe play action?
I think maybe you go play action, show your quarterback, get a little confidence in him, and let him fling another one.
Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a 1st down. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. They keep it with Penny on 1st down. And he stopped immediately there. It's the Pro Bowler Chandler Jones who makes the tackle. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick. And what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
On 2nd down, here's Penny. Fights him off. And he's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. He can run for it, and he will. The keeper nets him only a yard, and that's going to bring up 4th.
Another down on the scoreboard, but the urge to go for it is almost irresistible here on 4th and short. Yeah, I know they're on their own side of the field.
I was going to say.
Normally I would say punt the ball away, but I'm feeling it. I say go for it.
And this is going to carry well into the end zone for a touchback. So out now come the Cardinals. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
They begin the drive with Johnson. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21. You mentioned very early on the need to establish a running game for this young QB. They really haven't been able to do that, though, in the first half.
So that means what in halftime? Adjustments time, right? Figure out what they are, figure out the things that they really want to accomplish, and who to run behind. Which are your better blockers? Find those guys and get in that direction.
They'll look to throw. He's got his man on the crossing route. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
But when you hit him on the move like that, and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh, boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down.
Gone! 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 All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
They'll look to throw now on first down. This will be caught by Brown. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down. This quarterback now 5 out of 10, 50% throwing it. Not so hot, but he does have a first down. Johnson, and a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He's going to loft one, deep left side, and this is caught inside the 5. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make a play on the football.
They'll try and run. This is Johnson. And he'll be stopped about a yard shy of the goal line after a pickup of about 3.
Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to revert and fire out and create some space?
And he will get into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. It's their quarterback. His 10th touchdown of the season, 2nd of the game. And the Cardinals now adding on to their lead. And oh my goodness, this is nowhere close. Well to the right and no good. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. Oh, what a move. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
They go play action here on first down. Looking deep in the direction of Cooper. And that's caught inside the 30. It's a big play there for Seattle. And even 40 yards.
That's a big-time pitch and catch right there. And, partner, I remember the days when quarterbacks would try this. They were holding their breath. But nowadays, they're counting on their receiver to be just a little bit better than the defensive back when it's one-on-one and the ball's in the air like that.
They'll throw on first down with Wilson. And incomplete as he was knocked as he threw it. And it took the ball off course.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
Now they'll run the option to the short side left. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. He'll get 5 out of the keeper, but now it's 3rd down.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable 3rd down because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
They go play action with Wilson. Cooper's got it. Give him 10 yards there as this offense is on a roll. This drive continues to plunge forward.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Back to CenturyLink Field after this. Penny, a first down carry. And he'll find his way down right around the 12. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Brandon, we talk all the time about those hybrid players, guys who could do more than one thing. And I think if you're playing strong safety in the NFL today, you are a true hybrid. Part linebacker, part cover guy.
And coming up, sticking his nose in the mess there and making a nice play defensively. Dancing to his left. And that's off the mark, incomplete. Amari Cooper, his intended receiver, and it's 3rd down.
The one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. And now the first throw for the backup quarterback. Able to shake him off. Steps away to his left. Forced out to his left. Oh, he stays up. But he can't get away forever, and down he goes.
2 sacks last week. Another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
And a few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Pressure comes. He's taken down by the Seahawk defense. And now the Seahawks are going to take a timeout here on defense, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. He'll drop to throw. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd. Down. The Cardinals on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 17. Back to throw here. He's going to float this one deep right side. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin with a pick. And he'll take it across midfield to the 46-yard line. He's at it again, Charles. He had the pick 6 last week. Not a pick 6 here, but an interception.
Hey, it's another Oski, because that's the word we use when we intercept the pass. Oski tells your team to rally around and block for you. Well, that worked really well last week because he had made it all the way to the end zone. This week, he got the Oski, maybe not a touchdown, but, boy, he's playing really well.
Here's a give to Penny. And down inside the 40 to about the 38. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. Now the Seahawks call the 2nd of their 3 timeouts, as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. Play action. It's Wilson. He's going to fire one one deep over the middle. And that one will fall incomplete. Clock here now just under 30 seconds to go in this first half.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit. Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. And now before they run this fourth down play, we're going to get a timeout, as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in this first half. Now here's Michael Dixon as he'll kick it away for the second time. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Arizona offense now as they get set to take over. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
David Johnson on his way. Touchdown, Cardinals. David Johnson in the final seconds of the first half. And the Cardinals are able to show off their quick strike ability.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number two.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Seahawks offense now, they get set to go back to work. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there, but they may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. So we have reached halftime with the visiting Cardinals out in front. As we'll send you back over to Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report, here's Jonathan Coachman. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he probably should have stayed in the end zone as he'll muster a return up to only the 14-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. This is the Oklahoma State alum, Chris Carson. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
So the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. They go play action now. Wilson. And his throw is going to be incomplete. The intended target, the tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. And it's 3rd down. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number. Not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense has spent a lot of extra time on it.
And he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line.
And that's his second sack of the game, but this player, disruptive in all phases, whether he's going upfield, coming underneath, you name it. He's a big-time guy you have to block.
Now here's Michael Dixon as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he's able to get it out of there, and this is a pretty good kick. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. They knew they were going to have great field position, went all out, got a little too aggressive.
And you have to understand your angles. They're cut down when they're that backed up. You've got to be careful going after him.
So a big break. The roughing the kicker called on 4th down leads to 1st and 10. Here's Carson. Stays on his feet, and he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Hey, 4 down. Tempo, baby, let's go.
They keep it on the ground. This time it's Penny. He gets them a little over half of what they needed. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 5.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. From the gun on 3rd down, Wilson. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Brian Poole. And he's able to get it back to the 33-yard line. First possession of the 3rd quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Oh, incomplete. A turnover would have really helped there. Almost intercepted. Instead, it's just 2nd down. Second and 10 from the 33-yard line. And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. Wide open receiver, complete. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Now a handoff, Johnson. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down.
3rd quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Underneath for Johnson. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. Well, they tried to swing it out left into the flat, complete, but really nice open field tackle.
And they played that one like a great boxer. They were on their toes on that one. They weren't back on their heels reacting to the play. No, they saw it, came right for it, and made a nice tackle for lost yardage.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. And his kick is good. And that'll push the lead up to 17. So unable to convert for the touchdown inside the red zone, but they do come away with 3.
Yeah, it's a 32-yarder. That's essentially an extra point nowadays, right? Because it's 33 as a general rule for these guys. So it should be a simple kick. But you know what's really strange nowadays? When they miss an extra point, I think they carry that with them longer than missing a field goal because an extra point's supposed to be automatic.
Absolutely, and I would think even field goals inside of 30 yards, even though they're substantially shorter than a PAT, it just has a different feel, doesn't it?
A different feel, a different vibe. That's what I get from all the kickers I talk to. They always say, if I miss an extra point, that's the one that bothers me more.
The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here.
And oh, that is going to be a safety. And, Charles, at some point, you can't keep worrying about big play. Can this be perfect? You just have to get the ball out of the end zone.
And in the offensive huddle, that was discussed when they called the play. Just get out of the end zone. But you know what's interesting? A lot of the times in the defensive huddle, they actually call a set and then say at the end of it, get a safety. So it's preached, it's coached, it's thought about.
So after that safety, now a free kick situation forthcoming as they punt it away from the 20. So they will accept the penalty and move forward. So good field position for the Cardinals as they come up 1st and 10. Now a 10th carry for Johnson. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
The wrist seems fine. The legs were never a problem as DJ's in the backfield again on 1st and 10. They'll look to throw here. And a quick throw here, that's complete. Broke through some contact, but unable to reach the 40. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Here's Johnson. And he's taken down inside the 30. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
I know anytime you watch a team run the ball really well, there's some pinball effect, people bouncing off of each other. There's also some things of beauty in there when you see these nice, explosive, strong runs. And this guy, he knows how to carry the football really well and continually wants the football. Why? He knows his offensive line's going to give him great effort, and he gives great effort himself to finish off runs.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for, they tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up second down.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And it's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. They needed a break. They needed to make a play here in the 3rd quarter. Defensively, they did that. Now they got to go quickly and get some points on the board.
And the best part is that they made their own break. Taking the ball away. Now they just look at their offense and saying, guys,
let's go.
Come on, capitalize on this one.
They'll start out on the ground with Carson. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11.
Check 50, check 50.
Now Wilson back into his end zone. He hits Baldwin right side. And he gets it up to the 10-yard line here. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. And now a first chance for the backup here to throw. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. He went backwards 5 yards there on 3rd down to bring up 4th. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack. But that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And the Cards will take over 1st and 10. And the Cardinals getting set to trot out there now. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, it does them no good to go back and say, well, you know what, a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done. Back
now in Seattle, Washington. It's Cardinal football. They're also out in front of the scoreboard as we get set for the 4th. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. They'll hand it off now. Johnson. A pretty decent gain on the tough run before he's brought down at the 25. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run. Got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
Saw it through 3 quarters. No reason to lighten up now. They'll set up a throw. And it's incomplete. The linebacker, Bobby Wagner, able to get back in coverage and knock it free.
But there was no trace of nervousness there. He was able to diagnose that play from his linebacker position, stay in excellent coverage, and bat the ball away.
In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Back to throw. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? Zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. Made his first, this now from 42 yards out. And his kick here is good. And that will extend their lead now up to 22. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points. But this widens it out, as you said. And now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. They'll start on the ground. It's Rashad Penny. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Brandon, we're into the second half, and this offense has not scored a lot of points, and that was another example of why. I think it's time to open things up and start really trying to move the ball.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Now they'll run it again with Penny, and he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Oh, partner, that play brought back memories. Watching them string it out, letting the runner get all the way to the sideline area, but not letting him get out of bounds. They formed that picket fence and didn't allow him through.
Not only that, got him for a loss as well here. And one of the reasons they lead in the 4th quarter, plays like that.
Yeah, it took a little more time off the clock, making him do it that way, didn't it?
And Wilson's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Buda Baker with a pick. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line.
Partner's bad enough when you just can't hold on to the football. But when your quarterback's throwing it to the other team, that's 3 interceptions now, 4 turnovers for the game. You really have no chance to win the football game.
They'll run it with Johnson. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they got it going today.
And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. Here it's 3rd and 2. Now back to throw. His throw caught at about the 5. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. And what can they do here on 2nd and goal? 3 red zone trips so far have yielded 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
He'll look to throw. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. In for the score. And the Cardinals will extend their lead. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning, right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. They begin with a run by Penny, and he'll lose yardage here back to the 15. That's going to go as a loss of 6, and it'll set him back for 2nd down.
They don't want it, fellas. They don't want it. Keep playing hard, fellas, all day.
They'll look to throw. Over the middle, Cooper with it. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. The reception good for 7. It's third down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good. And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. You're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it. On third down, Wilson. He finds his man, Baldwin. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. A gain of 19 in picking up the first. Off the play fake, here's Wilson. He gets it to Baldwin. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long. They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. He's going to let it fly. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. I want to go back to something you said in the first quarter about winning.
Is it a positive?
It is a positive.
Okay.
About winning the turnover battle. As a visiting team, as an underdog, you were right. They've done just that, and look where it's gotten them.
It's part of the formula. When you go on the road, as you mentioned, being an underdog, winning the turnover battle is a big key, and this one's playing out in this one.
Oh, and now he bowls him over. That is caught at the 7. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. 23 yards on the play. They'll try and run forward with Penny. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It'll be a pickup of 4, and it brings up 2nd and goal.
And, Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try and help.
And he will take this one in for the Seattle touchdown. Rashad Penny, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Seahawks are able to close the gap just a bit. Josh Lambo now for the point after. Extra point tacked on by Lambo. And that'll cut the lead down now to 22. So it would no doubt be a miracle comeback from here, but let's see what they can do starting with the onside kick.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
This is Johnson. There he goes inside the 30. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. A big run there, 29 yards and a first. Well, that looked like an example of what you said back in the first half. A running back of his size can really wear down a defense. I think he's starting to do that.
I think you're exactly right. And know what else he's doing? He's inspiring the rest of his team because they see this starting to happen as well. So that means they're going to redouble their efforts to help him out. Extra blocking, getting downfield, helping him out.
Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them. Well, Charles, the forecast called for rain throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast ahead of time? Are you one of those guys that's skeptical about it, or did you trust it?
But when I saw just a big blob of green on the radar, I said, okay, let's trust.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you took my advice. Get your notes laminated, because, you know, open-air booth, that rain can affect us as well, although not as much as the guys on the field. But let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch these types of games, isn't it?
It is. By the way, how impressive is it that you travel with a laminator? I didn't even know there was a portable laminator.
The things that you learn.
Golly, wise beyond his years. So for the Cards, it'll be a .500 start as the 2. And they'll have another road date next week with the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, they also will exit this one at 2-2. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.